Good morning, diners, and welcome to another edition of the Collapse Morning Wake Up Call. And today we are having a special brand new edition, brand new show here, which we're calling Prometheus Rising. And the show is going to be all about trucking and the trucking life and how that relates to the issues that we talk about all the time in Collapse. And we'll be going far and wide. My partner in this is an old friend, very good friend, who goes by the handle Lucid Dreams, and he's over here on the screen. And yeah, he could wave to you. We both have experience as truckers. I did mine from about 1997 to about 2004, about 7 years worth over the road. And LD, as I refer to him, has been out on the road now, for about 18 months? About a year and a half?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
About a year and a half. Yeah.
A little bit more, I think. September, well, I got my CDL October 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
October.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah. He has just transitioned, a big transition for any trucker. I did the transition. It took me longer than he got it done. But he has transitioned to owner-operator. Which means he has his own truck. Well, he's in the process of buying his own truck. But for all intents and purposes right now, he is an OO. And so, without further ado, let's talk to LD. All right.
Oh, shit.
I mean, it's not.
Trying to see if I can.
It's not critical if you're tired and you want to just get in your bunk, you know.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
I want a shot of you doing your cooking when you set up your kitchen.
Well, see, that's what I'm gonna be doing here shortly.
Yeah.
I already thought that would be something that would be pretty cool. Is just get a good angle with the cell phone.
Yeah.
And
it would.
and then you can see it transform. You know how my truck transforms from, what it is now, which is,
Yeah. It would be bad.
Yeah, it's a mess.
What?
It's a fucking mess right now. Like, I just got shit because I just moved out of a bigger truck. See, so like, I just have, like that's a box of food, water, and that's sitting on top of another box of drinks, and then beneath that one is a box of bungees, and then I just got shit.
Yeah. That is not not ideal organization to be. You've got work to do as far as that's concerned. But it's a brand for you. It's a brand new truck.
Well, it's also, and then like over here, hold up. Over here, see, like I just have backpacks and duffel bags and shit. I don't know. You can't really hardly see that, can you?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, as far as shooting video of you doing cooking and stuff, probably be better to get one of those. Although let's just get one, for now. But when you parked at your normal time, 3, 4 in the afternoon, and it's still light because it's dark out. The amount of light that's coming into your cabin is not huge, and your cabin lights are not very powerful. So you are kind of reddish orange colored. The camera.
That's because that's a red. I have a red light on right now. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The camera's adjusting for the amount of lighting, but if you always, the more light you have when shooting vid, the better. Your vids just come out better with more light. But you know, it'll be all right for sure for now. With whatever you do in this situation. So you got an address or whatever you can PM me or message me with?
Yeah. I've been wondering, like, an issue with all that.
I'm not going to publish the address or the location. I'm just going to, you know, the only people who would be able to figure it out, you know, it's just somewhere in Pennsylvania. The only people who could figure it out is people who actually watch the whole video and see the 10 seconds of video or of the still shot from satellite and be able to recognize it. Nobody's going to fucking know where it is.
All right. I can tell you right now, I'm looking at both addresses. Write it down. Do you even use pen and paper anymore?
I don't know. What do you call it? I would prefer, then I can refer to it. Just type it into the messages. You can do that on the cell phone. And it'll come across in the messages.
All right, yeah, I'll do that.
I mean, you could tell it to me too. I mean,
no, that's fine. I'll just text it.
I'll just
cut
it out of the vid, you know. But
it'd be easier just for me to.
Yeah, it would be, because then I gotta. Whenever I edit out little pieces, I gotta then do the edit out. Gotta find it, edit it out, then I gotta seam it back together. So it adds like 3 steps to the process, and each one of those.
It's a lot more work than just sending a text.
Yeah, each one of those steps takes 5 minutes. So it's 15 minutes more time, whereas typing it in takes you a minute. So that works out better. But yeah, as much as possible, I'm gonna endeavor to keep this who you're actually driving for, the company that you're. All right, so looks like you're in the bunk of your Freightliner.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks pretty comfy. You can stretch out completely.
Oh yeah. You want me to kind of give you a view?
No, not yet. We'll do it.
No.
We'll do a tour later. But just
I'm
good.
Yeah, I'm 6'4", and I mean I can. My feet don't hit anything. I stretch out.
Yeah, I knew.
So,
I knew for myself because I'm compact size. I had plenty of room, but I wasn't sure. I know how tall LD is, so I wasn't sure how that would work out. And you got plenty of headroom overhead.
Yeah, I can stand up too without my head hitting the ceiling. At least, yeah.
You have one. You have one.
Pretty much in the whole cab.
You have kind of one of those half roofs, right? Not a full high condo.
No, it's not a condo. But it's like I said, I can stand completely up, and I've still got a couple of inches before my head hits this roof. So
yeah, I had a full condo because I was full in the dry box. So LD is full and flatbed, and that's different. And we'll get into the differences over time between flatbed and dry box. So with the condo, the nice thing was that, and my height, I was able to string across the top of it a hammock, a net hammock, and I put like clothes in the net hammock. I put cooking gear. I had everything up there, and so I didn't have to clutter up the rest of the truck. So it gave me plenty of room, and I was able to bring plenty of stuff. Because I'm big on gear. Preps wherever I go. Preps. It took me about 5 crates or big suitcases or containers to load up my truck. About how much stuff do you end up taking?
I have about 4 duffel bags, and then of course all my food. I've got that thermal electric cooler. I'm not sure. What is it? 80 ports, I think. It's the same one you got.
Right.
You got for the sun
They're all
convocation.
about
So
they're all about the same size, like so. As I try to lift them.
it holds enough for me to pretty much feed myself for about 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to keep that much cold food. I mean, a lot of the stuff you can just keep canned food and stuff like that doesn't need to be in the cooler. So.
I don't know. I eat good.
Yeah, I never.
I mean,
much more than a week's worth of food with me, because I would stop at grocery stores, Walmarts, whatever, anything that had a big enough parking lot, and replenish my food supplies about once a week, but you go home pretty much every week. So.
Yeah. Every weekend.
Yeah.
So I never need more than a week of food. But
right.
Well,
you never know.
Yeah.
Something might come up.
I pull into Walmart's. That's where when I got to restock on food on the road. I'll pull into Walmart.
Yeah. Walmart parking lots, they're big. So you can usually get, and that's why you get all the RVs in there too nowadays. Up around here, a lot of people living out of the Walmart parking lots, in their RVs, because Walmart lets you park there overnight.
Right. Yeah, they allow truck parking.
Yeah, as long as
not all of them though. Some of them don't allow truck parking, but most of them do.
Generally speaking, as long as you shop in Walmart, they're happy to have you overnight. So, and there's also some places with city ordinances that you're not supposed to park. Even if Walmart's okay with it, the cops will still come by and roust you. So, but at least the Walmart up here in the valley, it's just everybody uses it, especially in the summer when you get the turistas coming up here. They'll park there because the campsites here for the RVs, they cost about $30-40 a night. It's almost like paying for a hotel.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't do it. All right, so like I said, LD is on his first load with his new truck. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the load looks like, what you're getting?
I'm getting lumber. So not sure exactly what size, probably like 6x12s or something like that. But I'm not sure. I know it's legal, so it's not more than 53 feet. Somewhere in there, though. It's going to be about just under 48,000 pounds. Taking it from.
One thing you told me.
Taking it.
One thing you told me is that your trailer has fixed axles, so you don't have a sliding rear tandem.
No, they're fixed spread axles.
So, how do you balance your load between the? You have to get.
You got to know where the center of your trailer is the main thing as far as for loading purposes, because with the most flatbeds, standard flatbeds 48 feet. We have 53 foot here if it's company because that allows us to haul 60-foot loads without having to have a permit. And most of the southern. What's that?
Got to put a flag on the back or something when it's hanging over the
end. Yeah, just strobe and red marker lights, flags, oversized signs. That's all depending on if it's permitted. It's state to state. They're all. Every state's got their own chicken shit you got to abide by. It's from one state to the next. It's how the DOT and all those regs are. It's ridiculous sometimes, but But yeah, this load though is legal, so it's not permitted, so it's not going to be more than 53 feet of fit on the trailer.
Can you weigh out the load before you leave? You know, do they have a scale?
Some places, some places you can, but usually they don't axle weigh, and so we have to axle weigh because that means you got to get your drive weight, your steer weight, your drive weight, and then you got to get both of your rear axles separate because we can't slide them. So you got to axle weigh on the cat scale, which is always a pain in the ass because half the times the clerk doesn't know how to do an axle weigh. So it's always a big old, back and forth, and it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, you can only be 20,000 on both of those axles in the back.
Right.
So if when I'm overweight, if I'm over on one of them, then basically I got to go back to the shipper and have the either crane or forklift, however I got loaded, and I got to have them move it to hopefully be legal.
Yeah. So you got to find a scale that's pretty close to the shipper or receiver then.
Before a weigh station.
Yeah, before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. That's
it can be pretty nerve-wracking sometimes because especially when you tarp a load. Like I just wrote about that on the diner a couple days ago. I told a story about I had a 60-foot load of beams in it. I had to tarp it, and I was still new. And so I didn't go. I could have at that particular location. They have scales and they axle weigh you. So I was on a dedicated account, and they were pretty good that way. But I was new. I didn't know that I should go over the scales first before securing and tarping. And so I did several hours worth of work, and then had to undo all that work and go get the forklift driver to move the beams because I was over on my back axle by I think it was a couple hundred pounds. You're talking inches when you're talking 49,000 pounds of steel.
Yeah.
They say I think it's a foot is like I think a foot is 1,000 pounds. Like moving it a foot one way or the other.
I didn't have to deal with that stuff. I was, if I was overweight, I just slide the tandems.
We can't do that.
Yeah. That adds extra weight to the trailer. So, but they are handy to have slide. It's also handy for parking situations. After you get to your shipper or receiver, slide your tandems all the way back, and then you can crank a trailer around, and by the time I was finished trucking, I could back that thing in with like a 1/4 inch of clearance on either side.
Believe me, I've noticed because these spread axles, we can't turn like vans can, not even close. So
I avoided going to truck stops. I parked, often I didn't even go to rest stops. I just parked on on-ramps and off-ramps of the highway. Can you still do that without getting arrested?
It just depends. Most companies don't want you to do it, and DOT can write you tickets for it. Like, I have only had to park once or twice, I think, in a year and a half. But even then, it was at a rest area, within the rest area, but not in a spot, kind of, on the on ramp.
Right.
They don't really bother you if you're in a rest area and you're on the, because usually rest areas have a pretty long on ramp, and they might as well be trucker spots because they're always full. Trucks lined up all the way to the
right to where the highway starts.
Both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what I do to keep that from being a problem, that's why I try to start my day at 2 to 3. 3 in the morning is my preferred start time. And, I get up at 2:30, grind my beans, make my coffee. By 3, I'm rolling. So I started my clock at 2:30 because we got to do a 10-minute pre-trip inspection on the truck and trailer and load and everything. And so, you know, it usually takes me 30 minutes from the time I wake up to the time I'm rolling. So if I start my clock at 2:30, 14 hours later, it's 16:30, so 4:30. At 4:30, you can park pretty much anywhere you go, any truck stop, anywhere, especially rest areas, because they fill up last. Because most guys, they don't cook their own food. You know, they're not self-contained. You know what I mean? So they want they want to park at truck stops because there's facilities and food and all that stuff. But I don't eat any of it. I'm self-contained. So yeah, what I'll do is I try to start at 2:33 in the morning, and then that way I'm shutting down at the latest at 5 o'clock, and it doesn't really start getting real hairy until about, you know, 6:30. If you're not parked by 7, especially if you're anywhere near a big city, you're going to end up parking illegal. And I've only had to park illegal once in a year and a half, but that's because I start early in the morning, so that I'm not trying to shut down at 8 o'clock at night. You know?
Yeah, I run the same schedule. I started about for me it was 3 or 4 in the morning, because I only had 10 hours to run, and I'd usually be done, you know, by, you know, same time in the afternoon, you know, 3 or 4 in the afternoon I was done, and parked. You know, you get into the truck stops early, wherever, and you know, usually parking is not too much of a problem. It's only when you know, you wait, you get there late, and then the place is full up, and you're fucked, you know. You know, I by starting early you avoid that. And you avoid a lot of the traffic and so forth. And the East Coast, you know, Jersey, where you're going, there's like no truck stops. I mean, you know, there are truck stops, but the parking in them
up north it's definitely better in the south. Much parking.
Yeah, south and the west,
better,
and so forth. You know, the East Coast, you know, truck stops are the ones that there are. They're all cramped, and you know, I always try to, you know, make my trip plans so that I could get in to wherever I was going on the Northeast, and I'd usually, you know, overnight it at the receiver or the shipper if I was picking up, and then you know, once I was loaded or unloaded, then get the fuck out of there right away, and not park anywhere. You know, I'll be 200 miles out of New York before I would have to park. You know, you know, my goal was not to use any of those places. I did you know, maybe in 7 years, maybe 2 occasions I used a New Jersey truck stop. But for the most part, I avoided them. And there's only a couple of decent ones anyway. So.
There we go.
Oh, yeah,
that's all my shit piled up right now because, you know, I just, there's the cooler.
Right.
You know, I got just box of food, water, drinks, you know.
Mm-hmm. Food supplies. CB radio there? You got a CB?
Yeah. I got to get my last truck had a little built-in hanger for the mic. I'm going to get probably one of those mic keepers, you know. But yeah, not too much to, you know, I got a couple little, this here's my wardrobe.
How many changes of clothing you bring with you, too?
Oh no, I have work clothes, which is mostly, you know, mostly what I have in here is work clothes, and then I have driving clothes. So here's part of my, you know, that's all my condiments.
Right.
I wrap them in socks. All the glass gets wrapped in socks because I've had several of them bust. So I learned that if I wrap them in socks, it keeps them from breaking. But then I got a bunch of shit piled up here, you know. Bunch of duffels. This is my dirty clothes bag. So yeah, this is my shower bag. I got all my shower shit in that one. This bag right here is what comes home with me when I go home. I take this. When I go home, I take this, my dirty clothes, and my cooler. And that's typically all I'll take home with me. Everything else stays in the truck.
Yeah, well, if you got your, you keep in your own truck all the time, then, you could do that. The deal with me was, I was, even, right up until I was owner op, I was sharing a truck, so there was another driver. So when I got out of the truck, I had to get all my shit out.
Oh yeah.
And
the one you bought, you were sharing?
No, once I bought it and I was OO, I wasn't sharing it anymore. But up until then, it took me. I was a year driving for Schneider as a company driver, paying off my free training, and then I did another year, 2 years with JB as a company driver before I was able to buy the truck from them. And so it was 3 years. It took me 3 years to get out as an OO and have the truck to myself. But for the first 2 years...
That's the APU unit I was telling you about.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a compressor fan back here. And then you can see all my chains and shit.
Yeah.
Got 12 chains, 12 binders. This is edge protection for the strap. Got my bungees. And then I've got a box on both sides of the truck.
Well, we'll have to do this tour of the truck next time. What do you call it? On our next episode, because we got plenty in this first episode, and that'll be good. So, look at those sunglasses, man! You're looking cool.
Safety glasses.
Yeah. So now that lot that you're in there, is that the lot for your what do you call it? Your company? The Walmart parking lots, they're big. So you can usually get, and that's why, you get all the RVs in there too nowadays. Up around here, a lot of people living out of the Walmart parking lots, in their RVs. Because Walmart lets you park there overnight, and, long as
they allow truck parking.
Yeah, as long as...
Not all of them, though. Some of them don't allow truck parking, but most of them do.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, generally speaking, as long as you shop in Walmart, they're happy to have you overnight, So, and there's also some places with city ordinances that you're not supposed to park. Even if Walmart's okay with it, the cops will still come by and roust you, So, but at least the Walmart up here in the valley, it's just, everybody uses it, especially in the summer when you get the turistas coming up here. They'll park there because the campsites here for the RVs, they cost about $30-40 a night. It's almost like paying for a hotel.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't do it.
And even I use an app called Trucker Path. It shows like all the truck stops, it shows everything that relates to truck driving. So weigh stations, parking areas, rest areas, truck stops.
Yeah, we used to have a book for that, but now I know that it's all on the cell phones. So, but that was like my Bible,
What's that?
I can't remember what the book was called, but it was...
the truck stop book?
Yeah, they publish it every year, and...
Yeah,
so...
I had one. I've had to use it like once, just because I was having a service or a cell phone malfunction that particular. I think my phone died or something, and I can't remember what it was, but
for whatever reason, the cell phone app situation didn't work out. So I had to get that book out and use it once. I don't even think I have it anymore.
No.
It was old. It was outdated anyway. I need to get a new. It's good to have though, because we're so reliant on all this technology, but that shit fails,
That's right. You never know when shit hits the fan day's gonna come, and cell service goes out and whatnot. Do you carry a what do you call it? Hard copy, the Trucker's edition of the Rand McNally book. The big one.
The Atlas.
The Atlas. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I got an Atlas.
You do?
I use that. Yeah, I use that for like whenever I'm trip planning. Like I'll get my route, figure out my route based on the 3 devices I use to figure out the best route. The 2 different trucker GPSs, and then plus the Galaxy S9 Google Maps, and I figure out my route. And then sometimes, you trying to use those trucker paths is basically like it's situated just pretty much like Google Maps is. You can zoom in and out and go wherever and look at all the roads and everything. But sometimes it can be kind of hard to use because it won't show you like the road, like number or whatever. Sometimes it's you got to zoom in and out and try to figure out what roads you're looking at. So a lot of times I'll just, like today, I just got the Atlas out. And I used the, Google Maps. Well, I used Trucker Path to figure out, approximately 350 miles away from where I was at the time. And then, so I had an idea that which in this case was Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then I looked on the Atlas to see where it was so that I could find it, zoom in better, and figure out where to stop at.
Right.
So but I use the Atlas, because it's, you don't have to zoom in and out on that. It's on paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can't get the fine detail, street level detail, on the Atlas, except for a few of the major cities and whatnot. But mostly you're just looking at either the entire state or half the state per page. Do you have the laminated version or the paper version?
Paper. I'm probably gonna get a laminated one though, because the one I have is, I think it was 2018. So it's kind of.
Yeah, I only would buy.
I need a new one.
I only would buy the laminated version, and I used. Again, this is before the days of computers and computer mapping, and I would use a washable ink, marker on it, and trace out my route in a yellow highlighter on it, and then when I was done with a load, I would just wipe it clean. So I could just glance at the map and make sure I was still on the right fucking road and whatnot.
In a lot of ways, I mean, you're using an Atlas, is a lot less of a pain in the ass,
Yeah, but it doesn't with the map, with the electronic maps and the GPS combination, it shows you actually where your truck is on the road. I mean, when I finally did get, and I had it all, it was all my own stuff. The companies weren't providing it yet. But when I did finally get, I was using Microsoft Trips and Streets, and I don't remember who made the GPS that I was using, but I had to plug my GPS into my laptop, and then I had to sync it up with the Trips and Streets. But once I did all that on the laptop, the little dot that was my truck, I mean, when I zoomed in, it was right on the fucking road. I mean, and it was on the correct side of the road even, if I was traveling, I could see I was on the right, and then traveling the other way, I'm on the left, or, whatever. So, that really, was advantageous when it came to that last mile in some places where, you know, usually you only had written directions from your dispatcher that came across the Qualcomm, and it was all text. You know, there were no pictures or anything on the communications devices at the time. And those directions were often not right. They were old, from some other trucker who had been there 2 years earlier or something like that. And so, you know, once I had the electronic mapping, you know, I could see where I was, and then, you know, see the where the entrances were and stuff like that. That's what was often wrong in the beginning. You know, I would end up missing an entrance because I was sent to the wrong one. And, you know, it really simplified my life and made my my arrivals to shippers and receivers a much safer deal, because when you're messed up, you don't know precisely where you're going. You know, you're looking out the side all the time. You're not looking straight in front of you to try to spy your entrance to wherever it is you're going. And so it was a pain in the ass. But you guys don't have that problem too much now with the electronics. So.
Oh, well, you'd be surprised. A lot of times, you know, they'll steer you wrong. I mean, so you still, that's the thing. And in another way, it can be a handicap. You know, so many times people just blindly follow what the GPS says, and it might be, you know, completely out the lunch about reality. You know?
Yeah.
You guys get, you know, I've gotten in trouble, you know, doing that before. But in those cases, it was because I had no fucking idea where the hell I was. Right. It's like when that happens now, it's like you know, you got your devices telling you turn here or whatever, and sometimes you can't, and sometimes it's not advisable. I mean, even trucker GPS, you know, I've had it I remember I was up in Pennsylvania, and there was a detour. They were doing some construction, and it was like BFE up in the mountains of Pennsylvania, like, you know. And so I had the detour, and then the GPS was like, turn here, and it was like, oh, that ain't gonna happen, you know. It was just it was an impossible turn, which happens often in Pennsylvania. Those towns just weren't made for trucks. I mean, that's mostly just the Northeast in general, but.
Yeah. Oh, wait till you get something up in Vermont or New Hampshire.
Yeah, well, I'm going to New Jersey this time. But
yeah. No.
Anyway, I ended up.
You got to be in the mountains.
You know, I ended up on this mountain road.
All right. Well, you know, I think that was a good first conversation with LD, and for you guys who are fans of the trucking life, we'll have a lot of more stuff in the future. LD is working on getting some more cameras, and we won't be just limited to you know, shots from inside the van or the tractor. We'll see the outside of the truck and some of the ins and outs of getting your loads tarped and put on there. You know, it's a whole different procedure than I went through driving, you know, doing dry box. So I'm interested to watch some of that, and as we move along. And then we're also going to start talking more about the issues with oil and diesel, and how when the trucking stops, it's all done, as far as the way our civilization runs. And so, you know, we'll be covering that stuff in the future on Prometheus Rising, and I hope you join us. And that's all to do. This time until next time, here on the Cops Morning Wake Up Call of the Hasta la.